All right, now in a Fox 21 special report, a woman betrayed by a family member spent her entire childhood being trafficked and sold to men for sex.
She finally escaped that dark and evil world, but she hasn't fully left it, stepping back into the darkness to help others find the light.
You can choose to look the other way, but you can never again say you did not know.
As a young child, Jenny Sue was stuck in a world of chaos.
My dad was an alcoholic. My mom was addicted to my dad.
She was sent to live with her grandparents.
They didn't know that my grandfather was a pretty wicked, bad guy.
And things would only get worse.
At the age of 4, he started selling me to other men for sex. They would have their transaction, and that man would take what he paid for, and then my grandfather would take me home again.
Others had no idea.
Outwardly, I had a pretty normal life. I went to school, I was a straight-A student, I was the teacher's pet, because that was my safe place.
But outside of school, the exploitation continued for 14 long years.
Nobody asked. And I think that's the thing in our community is we see signs or symptoms. Especially if you're a mom, you have this like gut mom sense of like, something's not okay. And then for whatever reason, we don't get involved. We don't ask the hard questions. And that is why trafficking and exploitation just thrives and multiplies.
Jenny Sue says it's a miracle she's still alive today.
I would have to say it's God's grace in my life. If it was up to me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have survived.
She finally escaped at the age of 17, the day after a failed suicide attempt.
On that day, I found out actually that I was pregnant, and that circumstance awoke in me kind of this mama bear instinct. And because of that, I finally had the courage to reach out and tell a counselor what was happening.
Her world, however, would never be the same.
I still sometimes have nightmares. I still sometimes sleep with the lights on.
She credits her faith, a community of other survivors, and her husband of nearly 30 years with helping her heal.
I came into our relationship believing every man to be dangerous, untrustworthy. And he proved to me consistently, day after day, week after week, 28 years later, that not all men are dangerous, that he could be safe and he could be strong, and that I was worthy of protection and love.
Jenny Sue now uses her experience to help others.
If I kept my experience to myself, just locked in a box, well, what was it all worth? The blood, sweat, and tears, the pain, the trauma. But if that is transformed into impact that empowers and inspires other people to move toward freedom, then it has purpose. It was not for naught. It was not for nothing. It mattered.
We've talked about this. I know bad things happen around the world. I just can't fathom that it happens so close to home, right? With people that we trust.
Right under your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole idea of this is to just raise awareness. And if you think someone is being trafficked, you can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline, which is 1-888-373-7888. And you don't have to know all the answers. That's their job to investigate and find out. But if you see something, say something. We also have a link to a ton of resources and warning signs to look out for on our website, FOX21news.com.
Okay, and happening tonight, the Human Trafficking Task Force of Southern Colorado will hold its monthly meeting, and tonight will feature Homeland Security investigators for Human Trafficking Awareness Month.
The task force is open to any interested individual, and the meeting is taking place at 5:45 at Mount Carmel Veterans Services. Human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry in the world, and law enforcement says it is happening right here in our community. This task force wants to end modern-day slavery in Southern Colorado by raising awareness and helping victims. Wow.